Hey, this is ASpengler and this is episode 9 of building the Outskirts of Saint Lô in Lego. Last week we worked on filling in this area here, which will be the city area of the build. And so before it was just completely, there was basically nothing, just a few structural things here. So I went in and filled in a lot of this stuff with plating to cover up the structure stuff. So the gray areas, or dark gray areas, are going to be where the buildings are going to be. And then I went ahead and covered up the majority of the road. Some areas aren't done yet, mainly because of where craters are going to be. So the 2x2 round brick, those are representing the craters in this area. So the main thing that needs to get done still is this area here, the back of the hedgerows. So I say that I was originally planning on finishing out this area for this segment. At this point I don't really want to do it right now, just because I'm kind of getting sick of doing all this cover work. So I want to take a break from that, and I was thinking about working on the road here to basically be what it's gonna look like when it's finished. So what I'm saying is mainly just take a break from this cover up work for a while, and then do something different for a little bit, which will be just finishing up the road over here. So this area is all covered up, it just needs the final detailing and stuff. So I'll probably start on the road at first, and then maybe we'll get to the hedgerows, and then there's gonna be some trees and bushes up top, and then we got the fields in this tan area. So but I think we'll start with the road, so we'll go ahead, stop talking, and get working. Okay guys, coming back after a bit of work. As you saw in the time lapses, I worked on detailing at least this one section's road. So that's what I did first. I detailed this whole road area. There still needs to be a little bit more so on the dark tan areas. That still needs a little bit more detailing, but other than that, the road area is fully detailed. And then after that, as you can see, I kind of worked on some hedgerow bush sort of prototype. And so first I did this one, which is just the Lego leaf pieces covering over top of the hedgerow. So that's what I did first. I also kind of tried out the second one with just grass pieces. So that's this one you can see here. And then the final one I did is just a mixture of the two together. So this is the one I'm probably going to end up doing, just because maybe thin it out a little bit, with at least in the grass sense. But I really liked how the leaf one turned out. I thought the grass one also looked good, but from a side like this it looks really good, but if you go straight on, it looks fairly thin. So if you see, look around there, it looks a lot more thin. So I'm thinking I'll just combine the two, because the leaf one at least will provide the background support, and then the grass will just add the extra bit of detail that makes it pop out a little bit more. Because the leaf one's fairly flat. I like how with the grass you can have it stick out more, and so just it looks a lot better once they're combined together. So I also went ahead and made 3 more of the smaller trees, so just so you can see what this might look like towards the end. So we've got just the trees that are going to be behind the hedgerows. I did not do any work on the fields yet. I'm thinking what I'll do next is probably work on filling in some of the hedgerows, make a few more trees, and I'll probably end up going and just finishing up the road detailing on these ones, these 2. So I'll probably start with getting this hedgerow cleaned up a little bit. I probably won't do the whole thing. I'm gonna have to look into doing a few different types of trees, because I've mainly been going off this part here to get some of the different angles. So I don't have enough to make all the trees for all the hedgerows, so I'll probably sort in a few different tree types. I like how this one turned out, so I'll probably get more of these just so I can make a decent amount more of these sort of trees. But I'll probably sprinkle in a few pine trees and some just other different types, so just to make it more realistic with the diversity of tree life in France. And yeah, so for now I'll probably clean this one up, this section up a little bit more as far as the hedgerows, and make a few more trees, and then I'll probably come back for that, and then we'll finish out the segment with some work on the other 2 sections, so at least with the road. So with that, let's go ahead and keep working. Okay guys, coming back after another decent bit of work. As you can see here, I've basically covered this whole area up with the bushes and grass kind of technique that I was talking about earlier, and so this is how it turned out. I think it's looking fairly good. I did also clean up a little bit of the dark tan area down here, so it looks a little bit better. You can see it down there, it looks a lot better on that area. And so, sorry there's no time lapses for this, so it's kind of just testing it out at first for now. I'll try to get some time lapses the next time I do work on the bushes. But for now, I think I'm going to take a break from doing the hedgerows and try to finish up the detail work on the other 2 remaining spots that need road detailing, so those 2 back there. And so we'll save the remaining hedgerow and tree work for next segment for now. And this is getting pretty close to what it's going to look like in the final product. I still want to add in a few other shades of green, so we're going to have the olive green for sure in here. That'll probably be closer to around the edges. You'll see some little tufts of grass and other things like that. So this isn't completely done yet. There's still some stuff that needs to get put in, the little details here and there. I'll probably throw on some flowers and probably some lighter green also, just to give it a little bit more variety. And of course there still needs to be this area completed as well. But for what it is so far, I think it looks, I'm pretty satisfied with how the hedgerows are turning out. They are a little bit larger than minifigure scale, I'd say. If you just see this with the minifigure there, it does go up above him quite a bit, so it's probably a little bit larger than it should be, but at this point I'm not going to change it. It doesn't look bad, it's just it might over exaggerate how tall some of the hedgerows are. I'm sure some of them were this large in France, but I'd assume that the majority of them are probably a little bit smaller than this. But I think it still represents the hedgerows fairly well. And I guess we could just bring it to imagination that it's more the bushes underneath instead of the land that's so high. So I guess with the leaves it might be okay. So I guess we'll just have to use our imaginations with that. It's just the bushes that are making it go up so high. And yeah, so it might be not the most accurate thing as far as how tall the bushes are, or the hedgerows, but I think it still looks pretty good, and I'm just gonna go with it for now, or just go with it for this mock. And so with that, I'm gonna go ahead and finish up the other two sections with the road like this. As far as pieces, I'm looking pretty good. I still have a bunch of the leaves left, leaf pieces from Itter Castle, and so it should be enough leaf pieces. And grass pieces is doing pretty well. Road pieces are doing good as well. And so I guess we'll just really have to take stock after this section and those two sections are done. But after that, it's not going to be too much more because it's going to be a lot of city work. But for now, we're looking pretty good on pieces. Just a little, I think there was one component yet that I was talking about earlier that I do need for the trees, but I should have enough at least to finish one section. So we'll have to get some more of those. But for now, we're doing pretty well on pieces. And with that, I'll go ahead and get the last bit of work done for this segment, and then we'll end it out. Okay, coming back for the last bit in this segment. As you guys saw in the time lapses, I did finish up the road details for the most part, at least the majority of the road details. There might be a few things that I go back and add later, but here it is. Looking pretty good, and I'm pretty satisfied that I'm happy that I ended up working on this area instead of the other half, just because it's nice to see what the end product might look like, and this is pretty close to what it's gonna look like, at least over on this side. All this really needs is some more little details. I gotta add in the field, and then of course this side of the hedgerows need to be covered in. So I'm thinking for next week we'll probably just continue off in these three sections where we left off. I'll probably try to finish up this one by at least getting this hedgerow done, the little bits that come around, and then we might not have enough for all the trees, but I at least can get all the hedgerow parts, all the bush pieces covering up all these hedgerow areas. So I'll probably end up doing that next week. We might end up also working on the fields, just so we can get an idea of what that's going to look like in the end. And so really just trying to finish up this area for the most part, and so it'll be out of the way, won't have to worry about it. And if it all fails, I guess I'll have half of the mock to bring to Brickworld Chicago. So about Brickworld Chicago, I have reserved the table space, so I plan on bringing this Outskirts of Saint Lô finished, and also the Itter Castle, the castle of that build. I also reserved a space for that as well. So that's gonna be cool, but I do need to get this done. So with this didn't take super long, so I think just as long as I have the parts, it shouldn't take too long. So we're in pretty good standing at the moment. Don't have as good of an idea of how long the ruined city will take, so we'll stay tuned for that, but at least this area won't take too long, and you got a good idea about that. So if you guys like what you saw, please like, comment, subscribe. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope to see you guys in the next video.